Howdy and greetings to you all. I have a new microphone today. I think it sounds better than the other one. It takes away a little bit of, there was no echo, but it takes away a little bit of that hollow sound. So I hope this will be better. And I've been informed by somebody that they'll be giving me some new equipment in the near future. Somebody that's viewed my channel and likes it. Thank you to everybody who watches. Please like and subscribe. This is going to be a DUI, DWI checkpoint part 2. Okay, and if you wait till the end of the video, I'm going to tell you some information that I think you'll be glad you heard. Okay, so sinuses, dog. Anyway, here's the deal. You have to make your own choice. You have to be the adult. You have to be grown up. You have to decide. Life is full of options and choices, okay? A lot of people say if you do this, they'll throw you under the jail. They'll do this, that, and the other. Okay, people absolutely cooperate with police, which is build a case against their own self, which they don't have to do, okay? And then people do not cooperate and do not build a case against themselves, and usually fare pretty dang well, okay? There is no silver bullet. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you watch me or you watch some other YouTube, you buy people's books, you talk to cops that have been in for 6 months or cops that's been in for 40 years like me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There is no single silver bullet. The reason is laws change. The way they teach police at the academies change. They have different instructors. They have different set of protocols. They keep changing these up every 2 to 5 years. They say, well, this is archaic, or this doesn't fit anymore. We're going to do this. Or, you know, we got a lot of ex-cops out here that's teaching people this, that, and the other, so we're going to change our strategies and we're going to do something different. Or we're going to handle it different. Same laws, but we're going to interpret it different. We're going to create different policies. Okay? So I've said this again and again and again, but anybody that this is your first time, this will be a good opportunity for you to learn. If you've been around a while, you're going to hear some stuff you already heard. Hang in here. You have the Constitution for the United States of America. That's a covenant. It is not a contract. It's a covenant. It doesn't have an end date. It's perpetual. You just have new government servants. Our servants that act and make this paper work. This paper is dead. It become alive with the men that signed it. The men that signed it, our forefathers left this covenant to us as an inheritance. Just like the Bible, God made promises to Abraham. Okay? Sorry about these allergies, y'all. But Abraham had covenants with God, and we're the inheritors of that covenant today. Okay, now on par with this, now some people say it's lower, and, you know, maybe technically saying that they have a saving clause that says if there's conflict, the higher constitution, the covenant works than a lower covenant, okay? But the United States is in effect similar to the United Nations. They united for, quote, a common good. But you see that they don't get along, and you see that they all got all their different ways and things that they do stuff because they haven't had an internal mechanism to force them. Okay, the Supreme Court of the United States has become an activist, and they're acting, and a lot of it is left wing. Some of it is right wing. It's swung like a pendulum to the left and it's swung to the right, okay? But they have come out and tried to interpret laws. That wasn't their job. Their job is to say it's constitutional, unconstitutional, or non-constitutional. Contracts, which are things like driver's license, that's a contract. You're contracting with the state. You do not have to, but if you do, then that's a contract. That's why it's not a covenant. It has an expiration date. So it's a contract, not a covenant, okay? And they give certain terms, words, and phrases. Now let's focus in on the actual checkpoint. Say you're coming up to the checkpoint. Strategies, ideas, thoughts that you can enter into is one. You can, and there's a lot of people that have done this in Florida. I wasn't there. I've had other police officers tell me about it, and I've actually seen some cases on YouTube. They were doing a vehicle safety checkpoint, driver's license checkpoint, DUI checkpoint, whatever it was. People had a Ziploc bag that was about this big, okay? They had a string around it. They put it outside their window, rolled their window up, not even 2 inches down, and in there it says, enclosed, driver's license, registration, and insurance. I'm invoking the Fifth Amendment, do not wish to speak to you. And that's out the window. So the police look at it, they've never seen this before. It's like, here's their driver's license, here's their registration, here's their insurance, and they're telling us they're not going to talk to us. So anything we do now would be in violation of the Fifth Amendment. Okay, because they said they don't want to talk to us, they don't want no contact with us, they provided the documents. Okay? So here's the deal. You could do that. It's up to you. I'm not telling you do it or don't. That's what some people have done, and they've been successful with it. Okay? I can't tell you everybody's been successful with it. Number two, let's say you roll your window down 2 inches or all the way. Your choice again. The police say, have you been drinking tonight? You don't have to answer that question. That is a discovery question. They are trying to get you to admit to a crime. An open container, maybe in the vehicle. They're looking at this vehicle versus an automobile, but they're looking for an open container. Okay, those are citations. Okay, brings in revenue. If you've been drinking and you say yes, it don't matter if you say you had a sip or a six-pack. Guess what? They're going to try and now get you to do a sobriety test. They want you to blow into the breathalyzer, the mobile breathalyzer unit, handheld unit. They want you to walk a straight line. They want you to say 1 to 10 forwards and backwards. They want you to say the ABCs forwards, backwards. And see what they don't take into effect is a lot of people have medical condition. Now, some police departments, some sheriffs, constables, marshals, and so forth will say, do you have a medical condition? Well, now they're trying to get into your HIPAA protected information. You do not have to share your medical history. But that's a catch-22. If you don't say, well, I've got a nerve condition in my right leg, and so therefore I limp and I stumble sometimes. Therefore it invalidates their test. So now that opens up a can of worms, and they want to go into all your medical history. So when did that happen? How did that happen? So once you answer a question, it leads to question 2, 3, 4, 30, 50, and 100, okay? So it's best not to talk at all. That's my opinion. I wouldn't say to anybody to talk to the police, and that's based on my training, my experience, and based on the 9 jurists that sit on the Supreme Court of the United States has advised all of us not to talk to police. Okay? So, when I was a police officer active on the streets, it was my job and my duty to try to convince you without force, without threat and coercion, to talk to me, to be nice enough, friendly enough, intelligent and articulate enough to extract information from you. Like, hey, it's a beautiful day outside, isn't it? Or, we've had good weather lately, haven't we? So, This is your name. Is this how you pronounce it? Break the ice. Okay, so now your level's up here and you start coming way on down. Yep. So I see you don't live real far from here. You come through here a lot, probably, don't you? I'm surprised I haven't seen you. Blah, 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 blah. Building a rapport. See? Building a relationship. I did a video on relationships. So I could establish a relationship. 90% of the people so-called cooperated with me. And a lot of them built a mountain load of evidence against themselves, and I could have arrested them, taken them to jail. But I was the kind of guy that said, it seems very minor, these issues. It seems like they did not hard time me. They did not engage in legal, lawful quarreling, if you will. And I let them go. That works too. Another strategy. But let's just say if you put out your driver's license and all this information and you say you don't want to talk to me, and then the police say, I'm ordering you to roll down the window. Well, then they put in an order, and orders have to be paid for. You send them a bill for their order. People do that. They've actually been paid. I've seen it with my own eyes. But let's just say you get scared, you're nervous, you're not sure. You tried that strategy, and they're telling you to let your window down and so forth. Well, it's up to you. One scenario is they're going to get tired of fooling with you until you hit the road, which has happened. I've seen it happen a lot of times. The people just go, they won't say a word. They'll just shake their head no. So at that point in time, they're either going to break your window, okay, and since you have evidence that you put out your driver's license, registration, insurance, what they ask for, it's all non-expired. The tags on the automobile, which they're calling a vehicle, are all in good shape. And there's no apparent reason to have any probable cause or reasonable suspicion that you are drunk, you are under the influence of alcohol or other controlled substances, or even over-the-counter medications like these cough syrups and so forth that have some alcohol base, or even if they don't have an alcohol base, some of the chemicals and ingredients in there will cause you to be drowsy and, quote, you're under the influence of a substance that you've ingested into your body that you put in there, okay? And so they're saying you drove. You're not even traveling, you're driving. So we're just going to go with their way. So now, if they break the window and they yank you out of the car and you never say nothing to them, all the way to jail, book in the whole 9 yards, and you just come and get bonded out, they're going to be under a mountain of pressure to explain their system. How come when somebody invoked the Fifth Amendment, why did you damage their car? Why did you injure them and violate their constitutional rights and convert their actions, their constitutional actions, into a crime? Why did you damage their car? This has happened to people, and people have come back strong in court. The officers sometimes are disciplined all the way up to being fired. Some officers have had people come after them in their private capacity and in their law enforcement capacity saying, you tore up my car, you scared me, you trespassed on my rights, you violated my inalienable rights and my civil rights. You used police power and you abused it. Okay? Now, if they tell you they want you to blow in this thing, it's the same thing. You don't have to produce papers, driver's license, registration, insurance, and you don't have to blow in that. That's an administrative policy. That is under a statute that has become a policy. You don't have to do any of that stuff at all. They will do everything to convince you. Okay? Every state is different. Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Arkansas, Nebraska, you name the state. North, South Dakota, New York, it doesn't matter. Every state has their set of laws. and some's a little more to the left, some's a little more to the right, and they have administrative remedies because they're operating in an administrative law capacity. Okay, so that's why when you do this, you usually get this letter in the mail in 2 or 3 days in most places, so I've been told, and I've seen people with these letters. Okay, and in fact, when I was a kid, because I had, I think, two traffic tickets when I was a kid. Okay, within a 1 year period of time, like going 10 or 12 miles over the speed limit or run a red light. I can't remember; it's too many years ago. But anyway, I had these two tickets. So they were telling me that they were going to suspend my driver's license for 180 days in Texas. I filed an appeal with the Texas Department of Public Safety. I went down and seen the administrative officer. I said, this is no guarantee of what's going to happen because you had to have 3 tickets. I said, just because I have 2 doesn't mean there's going to be 3. And to take away this here would be to injure me, to hurt me. Okay, I can't go to work. I can't go to the drugstore. I can't go to the hospital because if I do without this license, based on what I knew at the time, then I might go to jail and they might impound my car. And you're taking advanced action against me, and this is based on a policy. I've called my attorney, I've checked into it, I went to the law library and I read it. This is an administrative procedure. It's just a matter if you check a box yes or no, okay? And if you check yes to suspend it, then I'm going to go down to the county courthouse and file with the county judge to take a legal, lawful action to stop this. And if he don't do it, then I'm going to the district judge because it's not law, it's just a policy. The same thing works with these. They refuse to blow in the pipe. They refuse to take the sobriety test. I smelled alcohol on or about them. Okay? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that they're not throwing this gigantic dragnet over hundreds or thousands of people in a certain area. I'm not saying they're not violating your constitutional rights because I absolutely unequivocally believe they are. Okay? I don't believe in DUI, DWI checkpoints. I don't believe in driver's license checkpoints. I don't believe in equipment checkpoints. If you see, because then you're basically saying, we suspect all of y'all. And so we're going to interview you, we're going to interrogate you, we're going to question you, all of you, because there might be somebody in the bunch that is drunk or somebody that is under the influence. So we're going to violate everybody's constitutional rights. I don't believe in it. So I have been through these checkpoints in just me, not telling them anything about I'm a cop or anything. I have in the past had a driver's license, and they've asked if you've been drinking. I said, I'm not answering that. Well, pull over here. We're going to talk to you further. I'm not going to talk to you no more. You asked me if I've been drinking, and I told you I'm not going to answer the question. I'm never going to answer the question. I don't have to answer the question. That's a discovery question. You're like a lawyer in a court asking for discovery. Okay? I can't be made or compelled to tell or provide evidence against myself. Okay? Because if you could, then you could twist my thumbs. You could drop water on my head. You could keep bright lights in my eyes like they used to do to extract confessions. That's why they made it perfectly clear, the Fifth Amendment. You cannot be compelled to testify against yourself. That includes out on the road with a cop. That includes at your front door to your house, okay? So, in my automobile, when I have been traveling and exercising my free movement under the Constitution of my state, which I'm a state citizen, and an American national, and I travel across the land. And I have been at checkpoints, and I have provided my driver's license. And I say, no, you don't know what you're doing. You've been mistrained at the academy. And then they get this, oh, you're a lawyer. Nope, I just am smart, and I know my rights. And obviously you do not. Or you do know and you're trampling upon them. Now I've informed you, so now you've been well informed, so now everything you do is upon you. So I say, here's my driver's license. It's valid, it's lawful. You have no reason to believe or have any suspicion that I'm under the influence. My automobile is in good working order. That's the end of it. That's the end. Okay? So now, if they tell me we're going to order you to pull over there, I said, I'm not going to do it. If you want my automobile to be pulled over there, then you pull it over there. I'm not driving it over there. I'm not going to transverse from my geographic location over there. Well, I'm giving you a lawful order. No, sir, you're not. You've stopped me unlawfully. You're detaining me unlawfully. And because I'm exercising my constitutional right to remain silent and not answer your question, you're punishing me. That's a violation of the state and federal law. So you go however far you want to. And I've had this happen before. Usually they tell me, okay, I can hit the road. Every single time that I can remember, after they've told me I can go, I said, it's a dang good thing you have. I've been a police officer about all my life. I started out as a police cadet in high school. I've done it all my life. Here's my badge and ID. You did me wrong. You need to go back and learn the law. Okay? It's incumbent upon you. Yeah, they taught me at a police academy, but I knew something was wrong and I kept searching and I kept finding new stuff. And I acted more and more lawfully and less legally day in and day out. Yep, some people told me to go find a new job somewhere else, but then other people said, hey, come be our chief of police or come be our second in command. We need a level-headed man that knows the law like you, okay? I'm sorry this video is longer, but I've tried to get into the administrative side of it, and if the police arrest you, then they do. You go get bonded out. You go to court. You make an example out of them instead of them making an example out of you. That would be my thought. Now, I tell everybody I'm not a bar card lawyer. I'm not a bar card judge. Don't want to be. I know a lot that are. I spent a lot of time in their office, and a lot of them, judges on their off-duty time that are judges in other jurisdictions, they come to different jurisdictions and practice the law. And believe me, they go to dinners and play golf and hang out with these other judges in other places. It's just an unspoken thing. But they nearly always win their cases. And it's like one hand washes the other. That's our government servants have gone wild. Okay? They're government servants. They're our butlers, our maids, and our field hands. Okay? If you hired a maid, a butler, and a field hand, and they told you that you was breaking one of their laws and they were going to throw you in their jail, how long would you stand for that? Really? Well, you got people that you gave authority to. That's just like you giving authority to your butler and your chauffeur and your maid and your security force, if you got a money to have that kind of thing. And you give them a lot of authority under you. They have authority under you, not over you, under you. And then they decide that you broke some rule or some regulation, and they're going to fine you in their court, or they're going to put you in their jail. That would never fly. You would fire them. You'd get rid of them. Okay, the way you do that with people in office is get somebody from your community that knows the state constitution, knows the national constitution, knows the difference in a law and a statute, knows the difference in a policy, a procedure, and a code, knows the difference, understands the difference. Get that man or woman to run for office. You put them in office. And if enough people do that in enough cities and enough counties, then it has a wildfire effect, okay? They see 2 or 3 counties over here. It doesn't take a lot, just 2 or 3 counties. And they start doing it. And then people in the next county say, hark, I heard next door they're doing so and so. So they go look. They go look. They listen. They get on the phone and talk. They get on their computers and type. And then all of a sudden they found out, hey, they're really doing it over here. Gosh, Chief Jones was really onto something. He really had this thing figured out a long time ago, and he's been telling people, well, they're actually doing it somewhere now. Okay? And then they start putting pressure on their people, and then they start electing people. And so it starts statewide. See, this Free State Project up in New Hampshire, it's gone county by county until it's gone across the state. New Hampshire has a tremendous amount, and there ain't no sales tax up there neither, and no personal income tax. People really live pretty free in New Hampshire, okay? I ain't saying go there or don't go there. That's up to you. They're not free, but they're a lot freer than they are in a lot of places. In Texas, they're a lot freer than they are in a lot of places. Now, out of the two places in the whole country, I would rather be in Texas or in New Hampshire. But I don't like snow, and I don't like super cold weather. I like cool but not cold. I was born and raised in Texas, spent half my life or more in Texas, probably, give or take. And then I spent a great portion in Florida and a little bit in 3 other states doing law enforcement. Sorry again, these sinuses. I'm so sorry about that. And I'm just not good at editing. Anyway, before I forget, here's the end. If you've hung on to now, I'm going to do a special. I don't know if it's going to be called an expose. I got to look up that word and make sure my meanings and definitions are right. Or the true life story, or an investigative journalist news report on Jonathan Henry Spiel. Jonathan Henry Spiel, S-P-I-E-L. I think he's 58, but I have to look and check that out. Right now it looks like he has active warrants for him. The electronic information on the internet, which I have to verify. So I'm saying I have to verify. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying it looks like, it appears to be correct. There's 26 warrants. I'm having to make some phone calls today to some people where these actives should be active, and that's in one state. And it looks like he has warrants in another state for impersonating an attorney. But I'm going to call that police department on the phone and verify yes or no. And I'm aware of some other investigations that's going on a state and a national level by state police and FBI agents, which I can't comment on that. But I may be able to, because they may be closing out their investigations here in the near future, and then I can do all of it. But at least between now and the next, say, 5 days, I do some kind of Jonathan Henry Spiel special presentation. Okay? Why do I do this? It's because he hurt me. And there's a difference. If somebody damages your car, then that is injury to your car. A man is hurt. H-U-R-T. A man is hurt. Your house is damaged. Your car is damaged. Property is damaged. So they're treating you like you're a corporation. You're on a piece of paper, or you're an automobile, or a mailbox, or a house, or a school, or a brick building, or something that's been injured. Okay, there's damages from both. Injuries to private property bring damages. Being hurt. A man or woman or a child being hurt brings damages also. But one of them's over here private property, and one of them's over here a man or a woman, flesh and blood. Okay? I can prove every single thing I say. But if you went to school in the United States for 12 years, and then especially if you went on to college, which has very open-minded, very liberal thinking, then you've been taught and you've been indoctrinated into the American belief system. Okay? As far back or as little back as the late 70s. So we're talking 40 to 43 years ago, like when I got in, or just shortly before I did. Police traditionally knew the laws and they acted reasonable and logical. But remember, the police that have come in the last 20 years, the cops that's getting ready to retire now with 20 years, they came in under a system where they were dumbed down. They were taught false information. So we went out in my day and time and had a lot more common sense, wisdom, and logic because our daddies and our grandpas and our uncles, our mothers, our grandmothers, and our aunts, and the church and the community in general seen to it that we were well educated and we understood in general. Okay? And America, a lot of people push God out of the public arena, but yet they want to legislate morality, like cannabis, big issues over cannabis, big things over opioids, big things over what you can and can't do on your own land, and so forth and so on. Okay? Only a moral people, a Christian nation, a godly nation could be expected without any legislation to do those things which are right, which people did in America by and large. Okay? Remember, 10% of the population creates 90% of the crime. It's super, 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 super disproportionate. I ain't talking about speeding tickets, and I ain't talking about two guys got in a fist fight, or somebody hollering or yelling and get disorderly conduct. I'm talking about a real crime: burglaries, rapes, home invasion, carjacking, not vehicle jacking. See, they don't say vehicle jacking. Carjacking. You got to listen to the words. You got to think about the words. What's the difference in merchandise versus a product? Look up product and merchandise. See what you find there. Look up covenant and contract and see what you see different there. See that the Holy Bible is a covenant. The Constitution is a covenant. The Constitution of your state, the United States. Oh my God, I've gone over 30 minutes. I hope nobody does stuff. But I do want to let y'all know that Jonathan Henry Spiel has come after me personally and my family and has threatened us. Okay? I have the electronic proof of it. I have other proof of it. Okay? So it's not, I'm not scared because I love God, but I am righteously concerned. And I have taken those precautions necessary to protect me and my family. He's also gone after the online persona of Michelle Davis, her children and family. Okay? He's threatened her also. But that'll be in the expose. Thank you. God bless you and have a great day. Please like us. Please subscribe. And if you got a question, this specific video was done for a specific guy. And Adam K. Almost forgot. So he really needed this here, and I asked him could he take 10, 20, or 30 minutes, and he said however long it takes. He just wanted to know the truth. And yes, if you don't act back, they will suspend license, but there are remedies. You have to read all the laws. You have to figure out the remedies in your particular state. That's all. Thanks. God bless.